Hi.
Should we just start with our
Names?
Yes.
I'm Kate,
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hannah.
and this is Feast.
Sheath.
And Shatter.
Is it hot in here or is it just me tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety? Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us? Or is that a dagger? It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter. It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter.
All right. Well,
Okay, so can I?
Yeah,
go.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so this week we're reading Friends with the Monster. Nope.
No.
Friends with All the Monsters.
Friends with All the Monsters by
Albany Walker.
who's from Michigan.
Yes, she's from Michigan.
And
And
so-
she has 4 kids.
And she married her
Wow.
high school sweetheart.
Yeah, it says so in the back. I'm like, you wrote that? All right, girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we know how you got all them kids.
Yeah. So this book we chose, well, Rachel picked this one out. She gets choices for a while now.
We owe her.
And this one we went with something a little bit spicier to, uphold the namesake.
Yeah, well, I thought it would be good to talk about, like to have one that invited a lot of discussion, because this one is like a 180 from Throne of Glass.
Oh, for sure.
Where you're like, plot, fuck the plot.
No plot.
The plot is fucking.
Character
is what this
development?
plot is.
No.
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 Don't need it.
Nope.
No.
Not doing it.
That's not what this is about.
Yes. You're right.
Yeah.
So, just to say this, the first time I've read this book like 3 times now because it just takes me that long. Interesting. Oh,
Kate is
oh, it's like
replacing
one of
her
those.
pop filter.
Oh, wow. It's like one of those cross stitch things I've got.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Ooh, I know how to make this work. All right, somebody else talk about their experience while I fix
Well,
this.
my experience was Kate was like, this is a terrible book at first, remember?
Yeah.
And so I started it and I was like, I don't know what Kate's talking about. This is freaking awesome. And then I got to the middle and then I'm still waiting.
Yeah, it takes a while.
I'm still waiting for sex to happen. And I'm waiting.
Because you're not really into the characters.
and nothing
cool, cool.
it's I mean, the character set up was really cool, but then it just never went anywhere, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Ba-doom, boom, ba-doom.
But then we hit our stride.
Yeah,
We-
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
yeah.
The second,
Depending on what your stride
well,
is.
the second book we need no setup. So
right.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
So
Yeah.
just to kind of lay out, I mean, I'm sure people who are listening, I don't know, sometimes I got some new readers or listeners yesterday, and they aren't going to
we
read
have
anything.
had a really lot. Like we've had a bump. Like we've had over 20 downloads the last 3 days.
TikTok. I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you
That's awesome.
for joining us.
Yeah.
But this book is about this girl who we don't know what she is.
Girl? Yeah.
We don't a woman. We don't know
Yeah.
what she is, but she basically doesn't eat. The way that she feeds herself is through people's sins or souls. So she is in some way a succubus monster of some sort to
Yeah.
start with. We learn really early on that these men creatures have been following her around her whole life. This guy shows up all bloody on her bedroom. She's just like, "What's up?" Not, and then I was drawn to him and his bloodied, ribboned back.
Yeah.
But she makes it very charming. There are all these monsters that
Yeah.
in another story are the bad guys.
Right.
Yep.
These creepy monsters have been her besties her whole life. You know, Uncle Skinny Legs.
Yeah.
Oh, that is his name.
Yeah.
Uncle Skinny Legs has been just showing up and hanging out with her.
Playing cards.
He'll playing cards. He talks occasionally.
Yeah.
Her parents kind of like
Abandoned her.
abandoned her. She's rich as shit. Lives
Yeah.
in some beautiful Victorian mansion.
Yeah.
She got mad money. She got
Trust
herself
fund.
a trust fund.
Yeah.
Her name is Damiana.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Her name is Dave. Damie. Everybody just calls her Damie.
Damie.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, you
God.
could pronounce it the first time. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody could.
And Damie is 30.
yeah.
Yeah. So she's not
Yes, I was
she's
very.
30, which
I
is
liked that.
which is the same age as our characters that we often come across with the inflation.
Yeah.
The inflation of the
Yes.
universe.
the
The
fantasy
universal inflation.
Yeah.
Age
Yeah.
inflation. Yeah. So, there's a couple ways we can approach our feelings on this book.
Yeah.
If you are comparing this to other reads that you might feel really drawn to, this book might suck.
Yeah.
If you are taking it at face value,
Yeah.
which is like eroticism and sex with some fantasy elements and a little bit of plot.
A little bit of plot. Yeah, it's just sprinkled in there.
Sprinkle.
A little tiny.
Yeah.
I don't know what
dusting.
happened. I cannot tell you the plot.
I could tell you the plot
read
in
it
2 seconds.
3
Yeah.
times. Oh, I have a clip for you, and Rachel,
yay.
you might need to. I'm going to try and play it. Should I do that, or
Yeah,
should I
that's
just
fine.
let you?
As long as we use just a small part of it. And
Yeah.
we're referencing that this is from the
This
book.
sums up the entire book for you.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
So,
I'm ready.
all right, let me play this. This is it. This is the whole book in a nutshell. I actually have it I literally, when I saved it, summary of book. I'm going to play the clip.
And I'm not ready to acknowledge that. If you think I'm going to pick one of you and we'll live happily ever after or some shit, you're wrong. I'm not that girl. I like dick in all varieties.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah,
that's it.
I spent some time trying to unpack my feelings about this book because we read some objectively better written books.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Give me the tissues.
And
Here you go, babe.
I read this
Today's
book.
the day. Put it on the calendar.
I'm writing this in your baby book, Rachel.
Thank you. Rachel admitted that maybe Sarah J. Maas can kind of write a little bit. Thank you today. So,
It's a milestone.
I
We
read-
need a T-shirt. I'm getting us
T-shirt
around a
of
T-shirt.
this day,
Around the T-shirts. Here they come.
Sunday,
Balloons,
September
poppers.
the 10th.
Break out that champignon.
just September the 10th. If you know, you know, and just put it on a.
Yeah, September 10th, 2023. Yeah.
But this book, okay, I know this book is shit. I know it is. I've read it several times though. Like
Yes.
I enjoy this book, and I
Yes.
was like, why did I enjoy this book? But I did not enjoy something that is subjectively better. So I was like, okay, here's what my feeling on this. If I'm expecting McDonald's for dinner and you bring me a McDonald's hamburger, it's the best McDonald's hamburger. Thank you so much.
Sure.
If I'm expecting to go out for steak and you bring me a McDonald's hamburger, I fucking hate that McDonald's
Hey,
hamburger.
but we are not in any way saying that any of the other books that we read were steak. Anyways, it's fine. I understand the anecdote. I get it.
I'm going for like this when I
Yeah.
got this from Kindle Unlimited. I wandered into it with no expectations except it's a free
It's a
book.
monster smut.
It's a monster smut book. It was a monster smut book. I expected sex. I got sex. I was pleased with everything that happened in the book.
Yeah.
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 Any thoughts?
I mean, 100% agreed. And going into it, also, I was expecting monster smut. And then I was expecting a horrible plot. And so I was kind of surprised
Yeah.
and pleased going into it because
Yeah.
it was a cool premise, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a soul eater. She's a sin eater. That's cool.
I think so.
Oh, the monsters under your bed are actually her friends. Like her
Yeah.
only friends.
Right.
I thought it was a really cool setup. It
Yeah.
just never really went anywhere.
Yeah. So I hated it at first. And that let me just clarify where my inability to get through something, there's a couple things possibly happening. One, I'm listening to it and it needs to be read. I'm finding this with a lot of really well-written books. I can tell how well-written it is by, do I need to listen to it? Do I have to read it and listen? Do I need to read it? Like, it just, I was trying to fast forward through it to find the sex because I was tired of listening to the main character talk. I was like, oh, Damie, like, you're just kind of two-dimensional and you're not really written very, like, you aren't how what we really want in our characters.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was like, oh, come on. You know, and I'm always
Yeah.
reading like 2 or 3 books at one time. So, but then once I kind of got into it and I read through the sex scenes, and I have a lot to say about the sex and the way that what she gives us, the author. I think it's actually really good, and I think that I did enjoy it for
what it is.
For what it is.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think that, you know, I'm just gonna go into it, and Hannah and I were kind of chatting about this the other day, is the solo scene.
Yes.
That's my favorite scene.
I
Yeah.
like that.
It's instructional too.
It is instructional.
She's like, okay,
She had
first you put it in, then you put it on the window.
Which
now
okay,
it's at the right
all right.
height.
If we want to talk, if we want to have a hard time with sand and beach scenes, what I'm not doing is throwing a dildo on a window, on a glass window, and banging up against it, just for safety.
Yeah. I mean,
Especially
good,
in an
yes.
old ass Victorian home.
Yeah.
I don't know how
We don't
strong
know
those
if those
window
are
frames
double
are.
pane.
We don't. And I was just frightened for her a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the risk is really what, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is instructional. She pulls out her, drawer of toys, which many of us may or may not have.
Yeah.
She's got old reliable, who she dubbed Vibey. Wait, what
Yep.
was his name?
Buzz.
Buzz. Pink Buzz.
Yeah.
Her just tool, her wand.
Yep.
We all, many people have those. And
We all, I mean,
and then
many,
she's like, let me pull out my big old dildo. Can they hear us?
No.
No way. Okay, sorry. There are like kids right outside that door.
They're
We are
fine.
responsible adults in a airtight,
Yes.
in a
soundproof
soundproof
container.
container.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Release the anxiety. All right. So, yeah. So then we get, she's like, oh, this is how I'm going to do it tonight. Then she's got her little, like, nipple
clamps.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Squeeze my nipples as I did that. Sorry. Like,
Yes, that's where they go.
yeah,
Yes.
she has, like, nipple clamps. And just, I love the autonomy.
Yeah.
Well, and she's been by herself her entire life.
She doesn't do emotional intimacy after sex.
No.
Yeah.
She's like, you are for pleasure, and then you will leave me.
Right.
I think even though if we wanted to add a third dimension and a wholeness to this character, if we wanted to interpret
you
it
wanted
that
to.
way,
Yeah.
I think she obviously fears emotional intimacy. She doesn't know what it means. She doesn't know what it looks like. Monsters and things that other people find terrifying and horror-ridden are her everyday.
Yeah.
So I love that she has kind of created her own little pleasure
Yeah.
chest and really knows how to get herself to go to sleep well at 4 a.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love that she is a little bit exhibitionisty
Yeah.
with a lion
Yeah.
that just strolls out of the forest.
Yeah.
Because lions are very common in
Well, she lives
Michigan,
in a world
slash
where-
Sheboygan.
She lives in a world where
It's
people
the
are
Sheboygan for me.
Chicago? No, Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
And so in North Carolinian over here, I'm just like, Sheboygan?
Sheboygan.
Where's that? And Wisconsin. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's not a very fantasy setting,
Yeah.
Sheboygan.
Yeah, that's why when you said that, I was like, really?
Huh?
Oh, right. What you know, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I started really deep diving on who she is as a person because I was like, Sheboygan. It'd be like, I ran down to Garner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how this is very much a fantasy for like a mother of 4, where
Yes.
it's like, I live alone. I have cleaning people. I don't even do my own laundry.
Yes.
I don't have to cook. I don't have to eat. I don't have to do anything.
I have
am-
3 fated mates.
All I
Yeah.
get to do is pleasure things and myself constantly.
The men do all of the cooking. I don't have to do that. Like, my friends come to me. I have a very fancy car that only has 2 seats. I don't have a minivan. Nobody else can ride in this car with me. Nobody else gets to drive the car. It's very much like
yeah.
it's a whole package fantasy where it's
Sure.
like, I have 3 men who are here specifically to have sex with me and to serve me.
And the best part is that they don't want just that.
Yeah.
They want emotional intimacy
Yeah.
and connection.
Yeah.
They're like, what? And like, if you listen to that clip again, I think it's Gunner who immediately says, "What are we, just sex for you?"
Yeah.
Like, I always love a story where the men are looking for more.
Right.
Because it's
Yeah.
definitely a fantasy.
Right.
somehow.
Because she's going to have sex with Calyx.
Yeah.
Calyx at the close to the beginning.
With his
And-
rough cat tongue.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I know. And
I mean,
he's,
that might have a place. You don't know. Maybe.
he's like,
I
but this will
guess.
change
it kind of
things.
hurts. Probably sandpaper.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and and we haven't done Ice Planet Barbarians yet.
Sure.
But they have ridged tongues. So
I don't know. Just the way she described his rough tongue, I was like, "Bleh."
yeah. yeah.
It's like sandpaper.
I don't know.
I like a little sandpaper on my clitoris.
but
Got a clip on it. Can you bring your sandpaper over here, please?
I don't think it's quite. I don't know. Whatever.
I know.
However rough you want it to be, that's how rough it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
seems, and
He's the one who's like, this changes everything. And she's like, this changes nothing. And he's like, then we're not having sex.
yeah.
Yes.
And she's like, what? And he's like, look, if I just wanted to have sex with you, we'd have sex right now.
Yeah,
But
and-
that's not what I'm here for.
And just to like the three guys in my brain, and we'll do our exercise in just a second. But Calyx to me is the fuckboy that settles down. That's his character for me.
Yeah.
Like the way
Yeah.
I interpreted him. He's got a lot of experience.
yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He ain't out there just like waiting for her to come to him.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
doing his thing and learning the ropes.
Yeah.
And yeah, but he knows like, hey, I've known forever that you're my person, and this isn't going to just exist like this.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. I mean, I think that's pretty fantasy.
I mean, it is. That's what I'm talking about. It's like a
Yeah,
whole.
yeah.
I like
you're
how
right.
Grimm doesn't have any experience.
We do get some
She
really
takes-
funny scenes with
Yeah,
him.
Grimm's
yeah.
really
She
funny.
takes the Grim Reaper's virginity.
Yeah,
Yes, she
That's
does.
awesome.
yeah, she does.
And then when he gets like a boner later in the book, he's like, this thing
It
is
wants
ready.
you again. Yeah. And
Come
she's
on.
like, we can't just have sex every time you have a hard on.
That's
And he's like,
not how it works.
I'm pretty sure we can.
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry. That's when they're all in the bathroom and they're like, dude, cover up. And he's like, why? I don't, get
I don't
it.
understand.
I don't
because he
understand.
doesn't have to deal with the. Like,
I'm ready for you. Obviously.
it is ready.
It is
I'm
ready.
ready to go. Yeah, it's overwhelming a little bit to think about how often. So, reverse harem, which we're calling "Why Choose."
Yeah.
Rachel sent us a really great. I guess it was a reel.
Yeah, it's from like an audiobook author. I'll
Yeah.
have to look up her name and I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
But she breaks down like the letter coding and
Yeah.
how that works.
Yeah, it was really insightful. I'm really glad you shared it. But we learned, people aren't calling this reverse harem anymore. Reverse harem, meaning like the men get a harem, and this is the reverse of that. Nah. Like, why do we have to choose? Oh, yeah,
Right.
in this book we don't. This isn't my first. I accidentally stumbled upon another series, which is actually I really enjoyed. I haven't finished it yet, so I guess I didn't like it that much. But it's called The Ties That Bond Us or something like that. And it's kind of similar, but she has 6.
Ooh.
Yeah, 6 of them, and the men they all find out really early in their lives, and so they all know. And I love how just okay all the guys are with it
Sharing.
being a collective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I did not like, if I could change anything about, if this was my fantasy,
Yeah,
I would not have Grimm be so, or was it, which one was like more jealous?
Gunner.
Gunner. I don't like that.
Oh,
like I
let me
want
tell-
everyone to be
Okay.
happy.
This is a good place. let's bring this in.
Okay.
Homework assignment was
Mm-hmm.
tell me which kind of guy suited you the most. Rach, you want to start?
You mean suited me, or which ones did I
Yeah.
like for Damian?
Oh, I don't know. That's not how I interpreted it, but you interpret it how you want.
I think I liked Grimm best,
Okay.
and then Calyx, and then Gunner.
Okay, tell me why.
Well, I like Grimm's character. I like that he's very sincerely into her. There's no subterfuge. It's just like, I'm here to have sex with you. I would really like to have sex with you literally whenever I'm ready.
Yeah.
And like she has to explain Big Spoon. I think that's really cute. And he's like, well, then I call Big Spoon forever.
Dibs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
yeah.
liked Calyx because he's very comfortable. Like, yeah, whatever, man. Whatever you want goes. Like, you want us to be together? You want all of us to be together? Like, whatever, that's fine. And then Gunnar is the one that's like, it feels the most like he's not okay with the whole situation. He gets to be okay by the end of it. But she has to like lead him into like, it's okay. I have enough to give for everybody.
Yeah.
And so I think that the most sincere to the least sincere.
Hannah?
The exact opposite. I'm going to go Gunnar, Calyx, and then Grimm. And Gunnar is really more like the way she describes him, you know, he's like a beefy dude, or I think he's just more my type. I'm more attracted to Gunnar than Calyx and then Grimm. I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe I do.
So mine is different as well, but mine is also very different than that one. Mine is Gunnar, Grimm, Calyx.
Okay.
I like Gunnar because I have a Taurus moon. I actually really like possessiveness in a way of like a little bit of a possessiveness. Like he's okay with the group, but he definitely has his feelings.
Yeah.
I like the aggression, but that he's also this like one of the sweet and gentle.
Yeah.
I like that they're always pissed off with each other. I like the passion and the intensity that they have with each other.
The friction.
The friction.
Yeah.
I am attracted to that, and I think for me as a woman, that is what I am drawn to. He feels like anyways, I'm not going to use astrology too much. Grimm,
can. Go
I
for it.
like Grimm. Grimm feels so much work, like so
A lot of work. Yeah.
He is sure he's really fucking hot. He's like,
Yeah.
you know, the masculinity thing,
Yeah.
right?
He's thick.
Yeah, and he looks like a model, you know, he's like a pretty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just also, inexperienced. I love, with his inexperience also comes this like innate giving, you know, he's very generous and kind and like, you know, I like the naivete,
Yeah.
naiveness. What's the right way to say it?
Sincerity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think any of them are insincere.
But
See,
he's just very much, I say exactly what I'm feeling.
He's face value.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like, there's no mystery and I actually enjoy that part of a person.
Yeah.
Like, they're, you know, like the depth. He's just like, this is where I am. I'm ready to go again. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know? And then with Calyx is a fuckboy
Yeah.
to me. And I don't find that attractive in men. I don't, I like his charm and his, like, I can see, like, the riz, the charisma. But I also, I'm not as, I don't know. That's just the third.
But you know what? I don't want either one of them by themselves.
No.
I only want them if they're all
Together.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is I don't really like these dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they keep each other in check.
Yeah. And they need
I like
that.
them together as a unit.
But they're all, we know what's best for you. We collectively decided.
Yeah.
And I think that her rage, because it is, she has like two feelings, and it's I'm turned on and I'm angry.
Just the same thing.
It's,
Really.
yeah. And I think that her, like, you know, we definitely get that independent woman who's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I was
you
alone
moved into
my
my
whole
house?
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I was alone my whole life. And she's really sad about that. She has a lot of deep feelings about being alone her entire life.
Yeah.
Not being her first memory being an infant and not having anything to eat and being hungry.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, she's obviously traumatized.
Trauma.
Yeah. We have to bring the big T into this book. And they decided what was best for her.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we've all learned that that's what we aren't going to do anymore.
Right.
You know, that's the difference in like I can have feelings of possessiveness and like loyalty, and those can be wrapped up together. And it also not be, I know what's better for you and I'm overprotective and I'm
Right.
not going to let you make your own decisions.
Right. Those can be mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You can choose to show up to somebody. Yeah. So I think that the character, I don't think these men are like our dudes. These ain't no bad boys.
No.
Sorry.
No. You're not hidden. These aren't book boyfriends.
Yeah, they're not book boyfriends.
This is like you're just watching it's an
porn.
exhibitionist.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't like that word.
Smut.
Smut,
It's
yeah.
an exhibitionist type book where it's
Yeah.
like, I'm in here to marginally meet these characters and then watch them do interesting stuff together.
Yeah.
Which is it's a very like, I don't know how to phrase this. It's not like a mom way to write it, but it's very much like, I'm going to sexually walk you through how I'm achieving orgasm in this coupling. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. And I was trying to get some other perspective on how other people receive these books.
Yeah.
And what I really wanted to know how other people interpreted was the spice level of these books. Mm-hmm. And it's all over the place. And this is where I'm kind of developing as we are doing these things, an idea for spice level, because I don't think spice level should be a thing because it is so relevant. Like I eat spicy food. Relative. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for the correction.
You're welcome.
You don't do it enough. I appreciate you. I eat spicy food on an every fucking day basis. We went to a place the other day to eat, and I asked for medium hot, and she gave me medium low because she didn't think I could eat spice. Right?
It is true.
Yeah.
Kate often demands their spiciest sauce, and they will give her a mild
Medium
medium.
sauce
Yeah.
because they're being presumptuous about what I mean.
They're like, you're
Yeah.
a white blonde girl.
Yeah.
I will give you ketchup.
Yeah, get some ketchup. Yeah, and so I like cannot stress enough at these restaurants. Can I please have a medium hot? Because
You'll like literally beg, like, please.
can I have it
It'll
medium?
be fine.
It will be.
Yeah.
I will be fine. And I
It's
asked,
on me. I'll sign something
Yeah.
if you want me
Yeah.
to.
and they had a 5-star scale the other day, and I asked for medium hot, and I was like, how many stars was it, or like spice? She was like, it was a 2. I was like, okay, so next time I'll ask for 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because that's what I need for it to feel hot. Anyways,
Yeah.
I saw someone describe this as 1.5 out of a 5. I saw someone describe this as a 5. And here's the thing. There is a level of dark romance out there that this feels tame.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
the difference. And we are never going to read Haunting Adeline
Never going to read Haunting Adeline.
on this podcast.
Yes.
Oh.
I have read them, and I am never going to ask Rachel to read those books. I don't want to pick them apart because while I completely understand the immersive, like why so many people.
It's just not our thing. I
well,
don't think
and it's
we
not.
would.
It's not our thing as a collective. Like,
Right. I don't think anyone in the room would enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that kind of dark romance could be done a little bit differently, and I like it. It's just that particular book.
Is it?
There's a lot of non-consent, but it's not consensual non-consent. It's non-consent, and then later they're okay with it.
Ooh.
So their trigger warning for that book is so long.
Yeah.
And I also listened to it, and that is a different experience than reading something.
Yeah.
Because when you're reading it, it's all in your brain how you want to interpret it.
Right.
So I think that's also a big difference. But that, to me, is a level of spice, if we want to call it that is far beyond this one. Mm-hmm. But in terms of how, like, I don't know the right way to say it. Like, this book is also doing something really awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely has a lot of sex in it. And the sex that it has is pretty provocative and gratuitous in a way, but without being like, you know what I mean? Like, it does feel like you're watching.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here too.
Yes.
Carry on.
Carry on. Like, it does something. It
Yeah.
definitely is
Yeah.
like you feel yourself being like, oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, here we are. I can read this and giggle.
Yeah.
Now, I read it on my Kindle, and I really enjoyed reading it as opposed to listening to it. But then I went back and I downloaded
The book.
the book on Audible, and I fast forwarded because I wanted to listen to the steamy scenes to see if it was like more exciting, and it was not.
Yeah.
It was like I enjoyed it more reading it, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the duet narration.
Yeah. So this book is recorded with duet narration.
Narration.
Narration. So
Yeah.
like they're talking within the same paragraph.
Yeah.
It's a dude's voice.
It's like exactly like that.
Okay. I don't know how I would feel about that.
Right.
It
That's
was
what I'm
like
saying.
graphic audio almost.
Yeah, but word for
Yeah.
word instead of dramatic interpretation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just reading. Like,
Unabridged,
no-
unabridged graphic audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I read both because it's Kindle Unlimited. It doesn't
Yeah.
cost me anything to do both
Right.
ways. And I agree. I think that there are some times where,
You know me, I usually prefer the audio,
yeah.
the Audible book. But on this one, I preferred my Kindle.
yeah.
Just throwing that
I
out
think
there.
that the reading really allows you to bring more of your own creativity.
Yeah.
and-
However you want to picture that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Instead of it being told to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back to like what I loved about the sex scenes or the spicy, steamy scenes is that her version of what it takes to complete, reach fruition, shatter,
Yes.
if you will,
Shut up.
is really realistic in how it actually needs to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't have to have special sensitive fey organs
Yeah.
to get poked enough to shatter.
Right.
Complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I loved that. She was always incorporating like the rubbing, this stimulation, that stimulation,
Yeah.
like
The
all of that, the
friction.
friction. Like I was like, oh, this is realistically enough. Like I don't have to pretend that my body
Could do that.
could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we
What-
get a range. Like
Yeah.
each guy requires a different amount of like a different type of participation.
Patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to just be a starfish one day, that's fine. If you want to be
A pillow princess, go
Yeah.
for it. If
Whatever.
you want to flip him over and do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that the realist, that was something I really liked. I was like, ugh, this actually seems like things that you get to do in the real world
Yeah.
and have these wonderful
Yeah.
experiences.
We didn't have to invent anatomy like in Ice Planet Barbarians where we just invent a whole bunch of fucking parts. Fucking parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking parts.
oh,
Yeah.
all fucking parts.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
What is it called? Their nub? No, their spur?
Their spur.
Their spur.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
owie.
Yeah, no,
well,
girl, not an
no.
owie.
No.
It's not an owie. That's not how it goes.
It's like, hey, if you are in real life and you are with men who just have the equipment they were born with,
Right.
here's some fun positions maybe we could try out.
Yeah.
Or some interesting things we could do.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Pause for real estate. Here is a commercial from. Just kidding.
Zillow.com.
You can sponsor us anytime you want to.
And this is what it costs for a commercial.
Yeah. How many bedrooms do you need?
I swear we usually answer our phones. It's just right.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Just the realistic
Yeah.
sex scenes. And I like the snuggling.
Yeah.
Like
the
we all
cuddling.
sleep together. I get to be Big Spoon.
These
I get to
are-
be Little Spoon.
These are men who are wanting to be emotionally available.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that. And that is why if you have emotionally available men and men who are interested in you, I'm like, okay, I will read this book.
Yeah.
I like that.
And we don't go through a period of them being assholes.
Okay, well, we'll unpack that in the therapy hour that we do after this.
No,
I could do less. I could go without.
I don't really need that. Also, I got really hot thinking about being the middle spoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I just get
It would have to be like 50 degrees, like 45 degrees in
It's
that
fine.
room.
She's rich as fuck. She
45
can just turn the
degrees.
volume. Just turn it down.
Turn it down. Turn it off.
Get Grim to
It's
make it
Michigan
cold.
and Sheboygan and Wisconsin. Like, I'm
Open the
sure
windows.
it's cold as fuck there.
I love how out of shape she is. And she'll be like, God, I gotta exercise. 'Cause she's like, I can't.
going
And
up
she
the
has
stairs?
magically appearing and disappearing powers, which is totally fine. She's telekinetic for like a hot minute.
Wait, this
and then
is a
that goes
fantasy
away.
book? I'm just kidding. Wait, she has powers? Yeah, she does.
For like
yeah. I forget she has. I do like when she throws them all out, and like slams the door, without doing anything, just standing there.
Yeah. And then
I didn't know. I don't remember that part.
It was like towards
I
the
read it 3
beginning.
times. I don't remember that part.
she kicks them out.
She's like, "Get out!" And they all like,
because they're like, hey, we're your mates. We live here now.
Yeah.
And she's like, the fuck you do. And
Yeah.
she just kicks them all out.
Yeah.
And then they knock on the door and it's really cute because one of them knocks and Gunner's like, knock again. And they're like, no, we just knocked. Give it a minute. She's got to get to the door.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah, that's
"Oh,
what I'm
it's
saying.
really
I only
cute."
like them together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I think the whole, like, what something we're supposed to, Gunner is supposed to learn. I always find it also really interesting. Sorry to tangent, but
I'm pretty sure that's our brand. So,
Yeah.
oh, sure. Okay.
yeah, tangent away.
I also think it's really interesting the choices of when the completion act happens in the book.
Yeah.
Because you're going to save, like, when you're trying to build anticipation, even for a reader, anticipation is the thing
Yeah.
when it comes to these kind of connections and like the intensity and the passion, right?
Right.
So I thought it was a really interesting choice for Gunner to be our
Last.
our last act, which is like the main show, right?
Yeah.
Like he had the most growth, and we were supposed to learn like through Gunner that it really is all 3 of them together
Yeah.
to create this perfect
Man.
Right.
bond.
I like when he has the temper
Monster.
tantrum and he's like, you said you'd share. And
Yeah.
She's like, what?
And that was
You've
annoying.
had Grim twice.
That was annoying. If you're going to be aggressive and possessive, then don't be a fucking little kid about it.
Yeah. I take it back. He's not my number 1 anymore. He's my number 2.
He's dude. Yeah. Well, I get it. Yeah. Like he's the big old burly strong boy.
Yeah.
So, I just thought that was really interesting because in some way I think Grimm's our leader.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
he's
like when
the
she, in that video.
angel of death.
It's like that video we watched, the one that I sent you, where she was
Yeah.
breaking down the letters, and she said usually when you have like M, F, M, M, then the first M is like your dominant male, like,
Sure.
and then the other 2 are with the female, but they're not together. Like if the M's come after the F, then they aren't together, but they're all with the female, but the first M is like the dominant relationship.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Did I follow what you just said? No. Does it matter? It doesn't, because you're going to add some footnotes.
I'm gonna put that video up, but she breaks down the like if you have MMFMM as your like code,
Right.
then the M's that appear before
For-
the F are willing to be together.
Sure.
So like those 2
Like
men
willing to pair or just willing to do
willing
it
to have
together?
sex with each other.
Threesome
Okay.
or just a twosome with the 2.
Well, like those 2 men could be together,
Like
or
they
they
will-
could be together
they will-
with the female.
They will poke each other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
They'll cross Twizzlers.
Cross
is what
Twizzler.
she
She'll
says.
cross streams?
Yeah, they'll cross streams. But
Okay.
if you put it after the F, then like the M, F are together, and then the last 2 M's will be with the female, but not with each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm open
If
to all
that
of
makes
that.
sense.
Sounds
So it's
good.
more of an
Yeah.
MFMM, where like Gunner and Calyx are never going to get together. Although I think she fantasizes about that
Yeah.
at
I
one point.
would love that for
I
them.
would love
though.
that for them.
Yeah,
To have some mutual,
maybe we'll get there.
maybe in the next book. Who knows? Have you read the next one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Dang. Okay. Well, I guess we already know kind of sort of what happens from what she just said, but it's fine.
Are you worried I'm going to spoil the plot for you?
Well, that's the thing, I don't know.
Somehow talked for 45 minutes and we haven't mentioned the plot once.
Well,
What
that. So yeah, like what does happen?
Hannah, would you like to break it down for us?
All right, here's what I think happened. All right, there's this magical world, okay? And there's all these creatures. And
Charmed ones, I think.
the
Wait, that was a
witches,
thing?
Yeah.
Vanessa.
Vanessa and her witch friends, her coven, she's not a witch.
She is a witch.
Vanessa's a witch.
Yeah.
Okay, her and her coven, they only have power because they steal from
Magical
actual
creatures.
magical creatures. And they are crossing some lines by, going after these creatures. They're really not supposed to, but they have, and they've kidnapped some people, killed some people, creatures, I'm sorry, not humans. And that's just not good,
And I gotta stop that shit.
I gotta stop
So
that shit.
that's
So-
all I got.
Another thing that I took from this. So the best monster in the whole thing for me was Asen.
Yeah.
She's the sweetest awesomeness ever. And
Yeah.
I think we've all learned from Willow that if you have a brownie in your movie or your story, they're going to steal the show.
Yeah.
And I think that's like you summed it up. Damiana
Damiana.
is the mother of the creatures or the besties. The creatures are her family. She's not going to let these witches go and steal their power and kill them.
Right.
And so, like, that's where our story is. And I don't understand. Can you please fill me in on the berserker shit? Like, to me, is that just like a magical Hulk? Like, he gets pissed and, like,
They're like
mad.
Yeah,
He's, like, always mad. I don't
No, he
understand
like
it.
transforms when he's mad.
Into what?
Like he just gets beefier
Like
and he
hulked
gets
up.
Like, he
sharp
hulked
teeth.
up
Yeah, he
like the
hulks up.
Tasmanian devil a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit.
Like, rage is his default.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I imagined him.
Yeah.
Like a hammer paws, like hammer hands.
Yeah. Yes.
He like
Gunner
grows a
hammer
morning
hands.
star out of his ass.
Yeah.
And he
Basically.
swings it around.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some roaring and there's sharp teeth and he's all like scarred. And,
So he's kind of like a yeah. Okay.
yeah.
That's how I pictured it a little bit. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah. And they keep the witches in line, but he can't actually sense when they're up to shit, which she points out. She's like, why are you like the police when
You're
you can't
not very
actually
good
tell
at
when
this,
they're
are
up to
you?
something? And he's like, I don't know. I don't make the rules. Oh, okay. That's fine. We knew that was a plot hole and we just weren't going to fix it. That's cool, Albany. Like, I'm with you. That's fine. That's not why we're here. But like the witches don't have their own power. Like Hannah said, they have to steal power, but there's like a blowback. It like corrupts their souls for some reason around their feet. I don't know. I don't make the rules out that either.
Oily.
Oily.
Sticky souls.
And there's a guy who has figured out how to do it and then use like lesser witches as like a filter. So they get the power, but they don't get the like blowback. And so that's what Vanessa has been doing. That's why Vanessa doesn't feel as dirty as everybody else, but she still has power. It's because they figured out how to do this thing where they, whatever. And so, I don't know, shenanigans ensue. We yell at each other quite a bit.
There's
Gunnar
a lot
seems
of
to have an
yelling.
infinite number of people that can watch other people. He's like, oh yeah, I've got people watching them. Oh yeah, I've got watching people
So
watching
he's like
them.
a general of some sort of
Yeah.
the like berserker squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. That's leadership, man. That's
Yeah,
sexy. That's hot.
Yeah.
Go Gunner. Team Gunner.
And then Asen gets kidnapped because they're
Don't
gonna
fuck with my
And
lady.
then
Yeah.
you fucked with our friend, so now we have to come after you.
Yeah, and then we get all the interesting where Damiana is like, let's go do stuff. I love the one where she like yells at Vanessa and then she goes out and she's like, did you guys hear that? I said like blah 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 and she was like blah blah blah. She literally says that and then she's
Oh, wow.
like, I was so cool. And they're like, you were really cool, Damie. You did a
Aw.
good job. She's like,
They love
"Yeah,
her
because
so
she's
been
much.
so alone her whole life. She just needs the validation from her new fated mates.
Yeah. And then she
Yeah.
eats somebody's soul. And then we get like Grim kills everybody and they're like, Grim. And he's like, sorry, you need to like mark them or something.
I didn't know.
I didn't know I was supposed to keep them
Yeah.
alive.
So explain to me. I had no clue what was happening. They go to a house
Yeah.
and someone gets stuck in a warded,
Yeah, all the
circle.
entrances are warded, so they try to go through the entrance.
and then Grimm
walking
gets
through,
really
and then-
dramatic, and he's like, "The only way I can get her out is to take her through the other realm, and it might make her different." And they're
She'll
like,
be
"Oh,
different."
I don't know what to do. I don't. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean, that sounded pretty accurate. Yeah.
And that was
Asen gets
it.
stuck in a ward, and she's stuck in the ward. They can't get her
She
out.
has to make a decision on whether to live or come back a little bit altered.
Yeah, he can like tether her soul, so he can like take her soul with him and like leave her body, and they can get her out of the ward. But when he brings her soul back, the only way to keep it in there is to like tie her soul to her body. So
Which
she'll
is
never be
exactly
able to
what
die.
he did to Damie.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy how much I missed. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Like, I don't know.
read it
I
3
feel like
times.
I read all the time.
Thrice you have read this.
I read it thrice. And I'm still like, what?
I had to read through it purposefully to be like, okay, this time I'm going to figure out what's happening.
Thank
Instead
God.
of just
Instead of just like flinging through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the next sex scene. I'm going.
You have to go from 10 to
Yeah,
this from
yeah,
the solo
killing
act.
people.
Yeah.
So we get a solo act to start us off, and then 22, which is the first time she sleeps with Grimm. So I guess the person that she sleeps with first is kind of like the leader. That's what I'm
Yeah.
kind of noticing as a pattern in the why chooses.
Yeah.
Like the person she connects with the most. Also, I will tell you something I really enjoyed. She doesn't like pain.
yeah.
She doesn't want to be hurt. And I understand that. I don't like pain mixed in with my pleasure.
Right.
And a lot of people do.
And she tells him that. She's like, listen, that's not
my thing.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and I really love that because I've been in situations where I felt like I'm going to have to pretend to like to be hurt, and I don't like being hurt.
Yeah.
But
You
that
don't
was in
have
my
to pretend.
young
Yeah.
20s when I was just trying to make this person like me, and I had no idea what I liked myself.
Yeah, exactly. You're still figuring out what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
she's
then
really
now I
good.
can really express, like, hey, I do not bite me hard.
Right.
Do not make me bleed. I do not like that shit.
No. Yeah, she's good at communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Bleed? Oh no.
Yeah, get that shit out. Nobody likes
No.
blood play. That's not real.
Ew.
Leave that in the books.
yeah.
That's
That's one
gross.
of those things that comes from the P word we don't like. Mm-hmm. Where we create the fantasies for men,
Yeah.
and
Well,
women enjoy them on there because they're being paid to.
yeah. The P word we don't like is penetration, and that's okay. You're thinking, well,
No, I
Lin-
said
No.
porn is what
Oh,
I
porn.
mean.
oh!
Yeah.
I thought you were
Where
talking
the
about how I
women are
said earlier.
pretending to be
PO
happy.
word.
Word PO word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the reason I don't like the word porn because porn to me is for men.
Yeah.
There's nothing cool about the P word because it's all about, like, you can literally watch and say, like, is he trying to please her or is this all about him?
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't, and so many people think, like, yeah, you come across men a lot where they think, like, this is what it's supposed to look like.
Because that's
and
the
they're
expectation.
Wrong. They're so wrong.
Yeah.
That's probably what's, it's not just one thing, but that's definitely one of them.
That's
Yeah.
one of the big things.
That's one of the
I
big
mean,
things.
for a lot of them, that's the only place they have to go and get like.
Because they're obviously not communicating and talking to each other about,
Right.
like, hey, can you give me some notes on how you pleased
Right.
your woman?
Well, you can't talk to another guy about like how were you sweet and gentle and you got like you connected on an emotional level with your
Right.
with your wife. Instead, it's like, yeah, I fucked this chick. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
That's exactly what it sounds.
It sounds just like that. And then they were like, and she came so fucking much. No, she didn't, dude. She's just really good at pretending.
she
Yeah.
didn't.
Like, you will tell, I have told many a men later on, as, you know, I think in our 30s and our 40s, we just own
Yeah.
it. Own it all.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you tell them, like, you know, I was pretending, they'll get really mad because they really thought
Yeah.
that was it. And it's
Yeah.
like, I was actually pretending then because I was really tired and I
just
was
wanted
just
it to
over
stop.
it. And it didn't feel great, but didn't want you to hurt. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. So, you know, like,
Yeah.
we have a lot of people have to come to terms with that. Like, it doesn't have to be performative. You can actually enjoy moments, intimate
Yeah.
connections. But they don't want to hear it. Their manness can't.
Some men.
Some.
Yeah.
Not all.
Most, but not all.
It's actually a huge pet peeve of mine to be asked if I have
Fruition.
reached the peak. Like, don't fucking
Have
ask
you
me
reached
that.
the peak of your pleasure?
Do not ask me that.
Are you done? Are you done?
You done?
Do
Yeah.
I look? Did you? Do you not
Don't
know?
ask me that.
Yeah.
Like, at what part did you think that I had?
It just irritates me.
Is it because they care, Hannah?
I thought therapy hour was later.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Is it because they're asking you to be vulnerable?
I'm leaving.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think that, in the year of our Barbie,
Yeah.
Yes, the year
of our Barbie 2023.
yeah, in the year of our Barbie, I feel like we're headed in a good direction, and I'm really hoping that the younger generations can learn how to effectively communicate and use language and discuss, and men cannot be oppressed by other men and this entire, porn industry that really keeps them from growing
Yeah.
and learning
Yeah.
and pleasing. And we're whole people, guys. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we are not.
We are.
objects.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
we have 2 holes. We can pee when we have a tampon in.
3 if you count the butt.
Yeah.
we didn't get much butt stuff.
No butt stuff.
No?
Oh, a little butt stuff.
Oh, we
towards
got a
the end.
little
Yeah,
tiny
it's
little
kind
butt
of
stuff.
tiny little butt stuff.
Yeah.
And then it immediately goes into them playing cards. Like, I re-listened to that on the way over. I was like, oh, let me just listen to that last little bit, the little Gunner scene. And then it was like, and then he pulled his finger out my butt. And then we were playing cards with Uncle Skinny Legs. And I was like, wait,
Did he wash his hands?
Hopefully.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
know.
Probably. They washed up. That was another thing, though, I did pick up on. Every time she had a moment with somebody,
Yeah.
she showered.
Yeah.
Because God
She went to the bathroom,
showered.
and then there was a shower in the next,
and then in the next hour. And I'm kind of trying to decide, like, should that be a standard? Probably. That you shower in between partners.
for sure.
Yeah. At least clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not wash your hair, but
Yeah.
Oh, but
get
like,
all the, just, it's just for personal hygiene. You
Yeah,
should do
I
that
think so,
afterwards
too.
anyway.
yeah,
So,
because you're just asking for a UTI.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very realistic book in like the sexual senses.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Which
I
thought
didn't
was really
expect
great.
that.
I'm
Yeah.
great for because, if we don't do that, if we have only Ice Planet Barbarians, how are we? We're different in a not toxic way, but how are we different in a creating unrealistic expectations way
Sure.
than the porn industry? I mean,
Right.
yes, Ice
Yeah.
Planet Barbarians is not toxic, but are we teaching young women it's got to be 8 inches long, 5 inches in diameter,
What?
and they have to have ridged planes on it in order to?
don't feel thoroughly stretched.
Yeah,
If you can't sit down for the rest of the week,
Yeah.
then have you had a good time?
Have you?
yeah.
Have you? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We don't actually talk about we don't get it was 8 inches long or whatever. We're just he was long, he was thick,
Yeah.
and
He was bigger, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed this thoroughly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I think she says Calyx has the
The longer.
right, but Grimm
Grimm
is
is
perfectly
thick.
normal.
Yeah.
And Gunner does it right.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
they all, yeah. Yep.
yeah. This is what I think. I don't think everyone needs to be realistic, but it's okay to have realistic.
I think so, too.
Realistic sex can also be spicy and romantic and interesting.
Sure.
And she's really only little bit borderline kinky with Grimm.
Yeah.
Really Calyx, because he tries to bite her and she's like, we didn't talk about that.
Right.
And I don't like it. And then she immediately takes control of
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
And then Gunner, it's I mean, besides sticking his thumb in her butthole, it's pretty vanilla.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was gonna say this is actually on the spice meter, and that's why I'm saying like, do you feel inspired? Is the word we'll use by this?
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
but is this as kinky as it gets? No,
No.
No, not
So
kinky,
when-
but
What's
If-
an alternate scale? Like if we don't talk about like pepper level, 1 to 5 peppers.
I don't think we need a scale.
I don't
That's
think we
my
need a
whole
scale.
point was
Yeah.
is that I think to each reader, to each person, it's going to be really different, just like my spice level.
Yeah.
You know, like, people are, yeah.
Yeah.
But vanilla sex and sex that is just eye contact and certain positions can be incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to be flipped up and thrown around.
Yeah.
and
Tied
like,
up.
you don't have to have your
yeah.
ankles like attached to the ceiling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't have to.
You don't have to be, you know.
These are, of course,
you don't need
valid
a hand,
options.
You don't need a
Yes.
hand necklace.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, you don't have to have a hand necklace for it to be like,
Unless you want to.
Hannah's so disappointed. You do need a hand necklace. You do need it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a different version. And I think
Yeah.
that we don't need a scale because it is always going to be really different.
Yeah.
And if you are someone who is looking for the kinkiest, quote unquote, nastiest stuff, this ain't the book. But that doesn't mean that it isn't just as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if I think that the 5 spice meter thing, I think that might be some of those books that are like dark, like Den of Vipers, Haunting Adeline type shit. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
I want to read those just
don't like
because
it.
of some of the stuff that I'm just not sure that it's our thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I might read them, but we're never going to bring them to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay for people to enjoy those.
Yeah.
I can't see myself enjoying
I know
that.
you won't, and it will be more of a, it will be a critical,
Yeah.
And that's okay too. And maybe we do need to do that because maybe there are people out there that feel that when they are reading, Haunting and Hunting Adeline and Den of Vipers and like those kinds of I don't know. I haven't read that Den of Vipers, so I shouldn't use that as an example because I actually don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I feel like this kind of harkens back to what we've all been talking about all week, which is making space for all opinions.
Right.
And that, like, it's totally okay for me to like a book and you to not like a book. And I hope you all understand that, like, I never judge you for liking a book. If you want to love Throne of Glass, like, I'm so happy that you
We're
have something.
still going to give you
Thank
the t-shirts. You're still getting the t-shirts.
Like, I'm happy you have something that you love.
Yeah.
But I don't have to love it too.
No,
you don't think
And that
less
doesn't-
of us.
No, and it doesn't invalidate
Right.
your experience
No,
or my
it doesn't.
experience.
And also, when we go to the Starfall Ball, you're gonna go with us.
Yeah, of
And would
course
you
I
ever
will.
buy the ticket and go yourself? Absolutely not.
No.
But will you go with your girlfriends and that you want to have a good time with?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that is what it is. That is what differing opinions, sorry, my nose itches. Like, I wasn't picking my nose. It's fine. But that's what it's all about. And
Right.
I think that is a really important thing. And
Yeah.
like my friend Beth, shout out Beth. We are a book chat podcast,
Yeah.
not a fan cast. And even
Right.
though I think Hannah and I's views on the Massverse are very much like fans.
We're fans.
We're in it. We're in it to win it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
also like the fact that Rachel isn't. And I
Yeah.
think that the discourse and the charm of being able to pick like joke as we go. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I knew I was reading this and I was like,
I knew Rachel was gonna freak out.
I was
She
like,
heard
Rachel's
this.
not gonna like this,
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important too. And I think it is a much more interesting conversation.
It doesn't benefit
For sure.
anybody to be in an echo chamber. To create
Yeah.
this echo chamber
Amen.
where, and I get it, as women, we face a lot of criticism. And when you're in a female space, any criticism feels like an attack because that feels like something that's outside the
because
female
we have
space.
also always we're demure, genteel, we connect, we people please, right? So conflict feels combative,
And it feels personal.
and it's not, and, it's not. And
I'm never attacking the people that like these books.
Yeah.
I am not. I liked this book, Friends with All the Monsters. If you didn't like it, that's fine. I
Yeah.
get it. I'm realistic about this book. I know it's not the best book, but I really enjoy it. I
Yeah.
feel like it's very
Yeah.
entertaining.
And I will say, for me, I would have DNF'd this book if we didn't have to read it.
Yeah.
I would have. I would have read the first. I would have read it. I would have left it off. I would have been like, "Bleh, I can't. But you know what I mean? Like, so I'm not gonna. I don't.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like, oh no, Kate doesn't like me anymore. I'm
No,
like, no, you
God,
just
no.
didn't like this book, and or you liked
Hey,
it.
Kate, are you mad?
Are you mad at me?
I
mad?
just think it's important that we don't end up in a situation where, like men, where we're not allowed to criticize each other. So
Yes.
even mediocre white men feel like they can be pedestaled, and that's okay.
Right.
That's what you get when you have like we're all men, manly men, and we're all here to whatever.
Right.
You have to leave space for constructive critique,
Right.
Yeah.
not mocking.
Well,
I
and I want to say, so people who might not understand what we're referencing, we are doing such a good job. We got a review. We had a stranger listen to our podcast.
Yes, which we totally respect her opinion.
And
yes,
I'm so grateful that she picked it up and she gave us a good review.
she did.
And she did, I think she was looking for more of a fan cast.
Yeah,
She wanted to listen to someone, who she wanted to, and there's a lot of podcasts out there for that, and she'll
Yeah.
find one, and that'll be perfect for her
a
commute.
quick recommendation. There is one called Flights of Fantasy, and they describe themselves as cauldron blessed, night court obsessed.
Right.
So they're very much a Sarah J. Maas fan.
Sure. And there's another one called BookTok for BookTok, which literally pulls apart ACOTAR chapter by chapter.
Oh, wow.
Like they're two women. I think they are like in an academic universe. Like they are pulling it apart. So if you want to get nitty gritty with some of those, that's a great option for you. There's also another one called, we'll reference it in the,
Just send it. I'll put it in the show notes.
yeah. But she deep dives, and her deep dives are amazing, like the entire Maasverse. So like if that's what you want to listen to, go for it. But
Yeah.
we're going to be so much more like I'm not trying to make like goals. I'm just saying like we have a lot more books to read, and there's only 15 Sarah J. Maas books.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I love that our discourse isn't about, that
That we have a discourse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in this person that wrote this review, she used the word mocking, and
Yeah.
because she was uncomfortable with the criticism, but the criticism was not mean.
Yeah, to me, mocking would be like, I didn't read these books. I watched a couple of fan videos and I was like, oh my God, you guys like those stupid fantasy books about fairies.
Well, and mocking is part of, like, by definition, is cruel.
Yeah.
And there is nothing cruel going on here.
Yeah.
No.
We can laugh and joke about Aelin Galathinius being a little bit hot-headed and...
Like Rachel.
Yeah. And we can joke about that, and we can pick apart the fact that, like, one of the reasons why Rachel doesn't like this character is also because in her youth, a lot of those character traits she may have had, and
Yeah.
may have had you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's so much room for so many different voices, and what we are never going to do is gatekeep and say, like, your opinion is valid and your opinion's not.
No, that's not what we're here for.
Unless you are mean.
Yeah.
And then I will...
Well,
we will
there's
come for you.
there's a
we
thing
will come
about-
for you in different ways that you're not expecting.
So there's a thing about tolerance. And this
Sure.
is my favorite distinction is tolerance is not a moral, like it is not a moral obligation. Tolerance is a contract. I will tolerate you as long as you are tolerant. But once you are intolerant, you have broken the contract. I am no longer required to tolerate you. I will tolerate any amount of whatever, as long as you are acting with tolerance. But once you are intolerant, you're fair game.
Sure.
I'm free to dump you or act intolerantly toward you because it's not my moral obligation to tolerate everything. I don't have
Sure.
to tolerate racism. I don't have to
No.
tolerate hatred. I don't have to tolerate
Sexism, misogyny.
homophobia. I don't have to tolerate any of that shit. I can dump that. But if we're all coming to this from the same place, then I owe you tolerance.
Right.
I owe you the respect of.
Yeah.
You are a sovereign
that.
individual, and you get the right to have your opinion, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and kindness and no, malicious malintent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's good.
So should we leave it there?
I think so. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, I think we covered it all. What time is it? Oh,
We're
we
reading
made good time.
We're
Yeah.
reading the next book after this.
Yeah.
So we're reading Some Kind of Monster
Yeah.
by Albany Walker, which is the second one, and it completes the duology.
Real quick, what else are we reading?
Well, did we want to read the French book? Oh,
Not now.
okay.
But like in life, what else are we reading?
Oh, in life?
Like, what are you reading on the other pod?
Well, we're reading the thing called Geometry for Ocelots, which is Matt's pick. And I read the first line, and I was like, I got to come back to this. So I put it back down. And I had to
read
come
the
back to it.
first line and had to put it down. That's funny.
And Penny wants me to read a book. It's like Defenders of the Taiga or something. She's read it like 4 times, and she wants me to read it so we can talk about it on a podcast.
love
So
that.
I'm going to read that for her.
Hannah, you got anything else you're
I
reading
am
or
about to
watching?
start for my other book club. I'm about to start a book called. Dang it!
While you're looking that up, I did start Empire of the Vampire
Okay.
by Jay Kristoff. And I think it's really good. I don't know that it's good for this podcast
Sure.
because it's an extremely male voice.
Okay.
Unless we want to do something
We
with an
could do
extremely
something
male
like
voice,
that.
just to have like something to talk
Yeah,
about.
I'm
Yeah.
not opposed to that.
Yeah.
I've actually been trying to. I was listening to this book talker who was a dude the other day. First of all, that was
Wow.
a lot for me. I know.
Wow.
And he was showing, all these fantasy books that he really recommends, and none of them have spice. And I was like, oh, okay. But I don't get enough. Like I don't want to be the person. I don't want to be a misandrist.
Yeah.
Is that the right way to say that? Like I don't want to hate men.
Yeah.
I want to give them some space.
Right.
So I'm not going to exit them from my repertoire of books.
Yeah.
So I think that there'd be some room for that.
Really?
And
Like
it's
maybe,
Kindle Unlimited. It's another Kindle Unlimited
if
that
it's
you're like,
free,
why is this on Kindle
yeah.
Unlimited? Yeah.
Is it a healthy male voice?
Like,
That's a different thing too. Like, I don't think we should do Name of the Wind
no.
or
It's
Philip Rothfuss or anything like that. Not that he's terrible, but
I
he
don't
definitely
think
doesn't
I'm
do women
far
well.
enough in
Sure.
yet. I feel like so far it's a very good, like, this is a character like that. I don't want to say morally gray, but that, like, I guess nominally morally gray character that's just so male character that's so traumatized that they act out against the world.
Sure.
But we haven't had like enough interactions with women for me to be able to tell you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'd be down. You check it out, and if you think if it's enjoyable.
So far, I recommended it to Matt, and I
Okay.
think the main character is really funny.
Okay.
It funny in a really dry,
Sure.
sarcastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hannah, did you find it?
Yeah, it's called Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin.
Okay.
So that's our September read that I've got to get on
Yeah.
this week.
So, what is our October reads?
Well, I know it's the milking farm one.
Oh God, I'm excited about that. Yeah, that one just looks fun. So books I've been reading, I actually would love to do this as a book, as a what's it called when we bring Matt in and we do it together? A crossover?
Yeah.
A pod crossover?
Yeah.
The 5th season. I sent that to you guys.
You said you really liked it.
It was incredible. It was incredible. And it was really well written. The universe is wild. And I found myself having a hard time putting it down, re-listening over and over again, thinking about it constantly. Thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And it's a 3 series, and it's adult but not spicy.
Yeah. I saw an interesting distinction between spice and romance. That spice and romance are
Separate.
Yeah, they're not necessarily together.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't like spice, but you like romance. Or
Right.
you like romance with your spice.
Yeah.
Or you just like spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a romance book though. This
Yeah.
is a straight up fantasy,
Just an adventure.
sci-fi like book, and it
Yeah.
needs to be read, and it's heavy. It's a little heavy. There's a lot of rocks in it.
That's okay.
It's a little bit heavy. I just think that it would be a good, like, I don't know. I just think it would do really well, but we don't have to. I think read it first. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
I'm going into the second one shortly. I just need some time. I liked it so much. I looked up like a SparkNotes super summary of it.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to see what the discussion of it was and to see if I was thinking along the lines of how other people are receiving it. It gets a lot of like, it's got a lot of accolades in the like academic universe as well.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I was like, oh dang, this is good.
Yeah.
And then I'm just reading a book called The Elven King or something like that.
I've seen that pop up on my...
Yeah, Elizabeth Evans narrates the Audible, so I was like, yeah.
Love her.
Yeah, duh. Let me just listen. It's all right. It's pretty good. It's not great. It's okay.
okay.
I
Sometimes
like
those
it.
are okay.
I'm glad
It's
to
all right.
read it. There's another book called Blood and Steel, which is on Kindle Unlimited that I really liked. Just regular fantasy, not a lot of like romance fantasy, but not spice level low. Which I really liked. There's a sequel coming out soon, so. And then November, we're going to do Fourth Wing, which was terrible.
It was okay.
Awful.
It's
just
fine.
okay.
Be authentic. I will unpack
We
my...
will
Okay.
at the podcast. We'll let loose on when we actually...
Yeah.
I'll
talk about
unpack
it.
my weirdness about hype and...
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, and Fourth Wing, I'm super excited because we're going to read Fourth Wing right before the sequel comes out. And I'm appointment reading the sequel.
Yes.
Okay.
So, like, that is going to be I get it. I've already ordered it. I will get it at 12:01 a.m. or whenever Kindle delivers it. I will order it. I will also listen to the Audible book, and I will have it read within 2 days of it releasing. I haven't been excited about a book like that since Harry Potter. I also haven't been reading as intently as I was then. And then, of course, we've got...
Well, I put him up on Instagram. I make little...
Yeah.
Release
Oh, I know.
date things.
I was just going to say we have 143 days until Crescent City 3 comes out. I have a widget on my phone. The countdown is ready. I'm having my mom make me some new pajamas so that I can be in fairy princess garb.
Nice.
Yeah.
Garbed up.
Garbed up
Correct. Nice.
for that. It'll be January 30th. I'll have just turned another year.
Another year.
I'll
will
just
be-
have had a birthday.
Yeah, I'll just have had a birthday.
It's going to be the best day
It's
ever.
going to be cold outside. I have my new thing that makes my remote for my Kindle.
Oh my
So my
God.
arms don't have to come out the
You're
blankets.
unstoppable.
I'm unstoppable. I am. I've already ordered. I've got all
This
the
is
books.
what peak performance looks
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
No. I have the book. I will have the hard copy, the Kindle version, and the Audible the day it comes out. So I'm going to make sure my house is as clean as possible.
Yes.
And I'm taking off work. And I will just bebop around my home and have healthy snacks.
Nice.
I'm like, my eyes have filled with
Okay,
tears.
I
It
know.
sounds like the most perfect day. I think I'll join you.
Okay, so, and my mom, this is what I want my pajamas to be. So my mom smocks. Do you know what that
Oh,
is?
yes. I know
Yes.
what smocking is.
Smocking is.
Yeah.
It's what rich people put their kids in, their
Yeah.
babies in. My mom smocks. So I love her making adult smocked pajamas. So I wanted to do a black nightgown that's like right above the knee and smock it and have little like dragons on it. So
Aw.
it's like a Manon nightgown. I know! I've tried. I'm like, Mom, I'll do the cross stitching if you just use your smocker to make the grid.
Oh my God.
And I want to do like fantasy princess, but like comfortable and like your
Yes.
titties slanging around.
This
Comfortable.
is a
fantasy
$1 million
princess.
idea.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
You
this
may
is
be able to
something.
find us on Etsy next year. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's not. Yeah. We'll see. Okay. Anyways.
All right. Love the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well, next
Good.
one has more sex, so we'll see
Can't
how we
wait.
feel about that.
Cannot
more,
wait.
Yeah.
More sex. Okay.
I think so. I'm pretty sure there was.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't remember what happens in the second book. Sorry.
I'm excited.
Okay,
Okay. Bye.
Bye,
All right.
guys.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.
just me tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety. Not your average book club if you know